Someone introduces you to a person. They say their name. You smile, nod, shake hands, and 3 seconds later, your brain has deleted this information as if it never existed. Not because you're rude, not because you're not interested. Your brain performed a calculation in a single moment and decided that this name has no immediate survival relevance. You're perfectly fine. Your mind simply works according to a different priority system. And neuroscience has just discovered why some people immediately forget names while others retain them forever. Here are 9 reasons that explain what's happening in that beautiful and complicated brain of yours. Let me show you why your memory for names works differently and what that says about how you process the world. First, your brain is busy processing more important things. When you meet someone, your mind simultaneously analyzes 50 different factors: tone of voice, body language, potential threats, social signals, your own tension. Whether you said something embarrassing 2 seconds ago, the name is just a small word floating amid a tsunami of information. It's not that you're not listening. Your brain simply prioritizes social survival data over verbal labels. Psychologists call this cognitive load. An elegant term for your mental processor is running at capacity, and names are the first files that get deleted to make space. In 2018, researchers at the University of California discovered that people with high sensitivity to social contexts forget names faster because their attention is distributed across many levels simultaneously. It's like everyone else is running a single download and you're running 20. The name gets lost in the noise. Think about that for a moment. It's not disrespect. It's overprocessing. Your brain isn't lazy. It's selective with limited resources. Second, you don't build an immediate emotional anchor. Names stick when they're connected to emotion, experience, or personal meaning. When you meet someone in a truly memorable moment, the name sticks. But in a generic introduction at a social event, your brain has no emotional hook to attach the information to. This isn't amnesia. This is missing context. A study from 2020 showed that about 20% of people need multiple encounters with a name before it gets stored in long-term memory. While some people store names like photographs, you need more of a complete story before your brain saves the file. It's like a random password compared to one with meaning. Fascinating, right? Your memory isn't worse. It simply needs more context before it commits. Third, your attention is on the conversation, not the label. When you talk to someone, you focus on ideas, emotions, stories. The name is just metadata, peripheral information. Your brain builds a picture of who this person is based on how they make you feel, what they say, how they think. The verbal label is secondary. This isn't superficial. This is deep. In 2017, a team at the University of Cambridge found that people with strong conceptual thinking tend to forget names because their memory places patterns over labels. While other people categorize by names, you categorize by essence. It's as if your brain says, I don't need a barcode. I already have their emotional biography. And here's where it gets interesting. This way of perceiving people often makes you more empathetic, but somewhat worse in formal situations. Two sides of the same cognitive coin. Fourth, your visual memory is stronger than your verbal memory. You remember faces perfectly. You recognize someone you saw years ago, but the name simply isn't there. This isn't a deficit. It's a specialization of your brain. Neuroscientists have discovered that some people have visual dominance in memory, while others have verbal dominance. You belong to the first group. It's as if everyone has 2 hard drives, and yours for images has terabytes, while the one for words only has gigabytes. You can remember exactly how someone looked, where they stood, what they wore, but their name remains a blank field. Think about that. Your memory isn't bad. It's optimized for a different information style. Einstein worked best alone and constantly forgot names at social occasions. His brain was occupied with other things. This ability doesn't make you better. It makes you different. Your brain has decided to invest more energy in facial recognition than in verbal labels. Fifth, you experience social tension that blocks storage. When meeting new people stresses you, your brain switches into a mild survival mode. And in survival mode, name memorization isn't on the priority list. Your nervous system is busy stabilizing you emotionally. This isn't weakness. This is biology. Current research shows that about 30% of people forget names in social situations because their sympathetic nervous system is activated. It's like trying to save files while your computer is running a virus scan. Everything slows down. Your brain plays defense. It stops taking in new information. Fascinating, right? You want to remember the name, but your nervous system decides that stability is more important. Sixth, you don't immediately repeat the name out loud. Memory experts say the most effective method for retaining names is to repeat them within the first 3 seconds. Nice to meet you, Anna. Pleased to meet you, Carlos. But you don't do this because it feels artificial or uncomfortable. This isn't shyness. This is misapplied authenticity. In Japan, there's a concept called name echo, where it's polite to repeat the name when you meet someone. In Western cultures, however, this quickly seems forced, so you avoid it, and your brain never stores the information. It's the difference between a file you actually save and one that just flickers across the screen. And here's where it gets interesting. Psychologists found that people with high self-awareness avoid memory techniques because naturalness is more important to them than efficiency. Your authenticity sabotages your memory. And this very self-awareness makes you great in other social areas, just catastrophic at remembering names. Seventh, your brain makes predictions about future usefulness. It sounds harsh, but your mind unconsciously makes a kind of calculation. Will I need this name again? If the answer is unclear, the name doesn't get stored in long-term memory. This isn't calculation. This is efficiency. A study from 2019 showed that people with highly selective memory forget information that their brain classifies as probably irrelevant, while others store everything just in case. You only store what will likely be needed. Again, it's as if you have a small filing cabinet instead of a huge warehouse. Neither is better. They're different strategies. But here comes the uncomfortable question. Is your brain making a practical decision? Or are you unconsciously deciding that some people don't matter to you? Eighth, you link identity with behavior, not with labels. For you, people are what they do, how they make you feel, what they represent, not their names. One is the funny guy from the meeting. The other is the woman who talked about architecture. The name plays no role in your internal filing system. Psychologists call this episodic memory dominance. An elegant term meaning you store people by moments and experiences, not by labels. About 15% of the population has this pattern. Your brain works like a novelist's. It remembers entire scenes but forgets the names of minor characters. Impressive, right? This isn't inattentiveness. This is a different archiving system. Ninth, a name has no cultural value for you. In many cultures, a name is sacred identity, origin, meaning for you. A name is more of an arbitrary sound. What matters is who the person is at their core. This isn't nihilism. This is practical philosophy. Researchers at the University of Toronto showed that people with strongly abstract thinking tend to see names as social constructs rather than true identity. While others think Juan is Juan because he's called Juan, you think Juan is Juan because of his thinking, feeling, acting. The name is an accessory, and here comes the fascinating part. This variability makes you exceptionally empathetic but miserable in formal networks. Your memory for essences exceeds your memory for labels. And now, the truth behind everything. These patterns don't make you better than others. They make you different. Your brain processes human connections in deep layers while the surface is easily lost. None of this makes you superior. Your nervous system prioritizes emotional context over verbal information. I know forgetting names often feels like social failure. Most of the time it doesn't feel like cognitive specialization, but like a weakness, as if others have a basic ability that you lack. But ask yourself something. Do you remember entire conversations with people whose names you've forgotten? Do you remember how they made you feel? What they said? The energy of the moment? If the answer is yes, your memory isn't bad. It's simply tuned differently. You're not broken. Your brain chose depth over labels, and every choice has advantages and disadvantages. How many of these points felt like a personal description for you? Write it in the comments. And if you want to learn more about why your brain works the way it works, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone who needs to know that their memory isn't broken, but differently calibrated.